Good morning, students! Today we are going to continue our video of mixed phrases review. First, however, you should do this PowerPoint on your own to see if you can do it. So look down in the description or in the comments below. You'll find a link to this particular slideshow. Go do that first, then you can come back and talk through the answers with me. This video is going to go through slides 10 through 30. Yep, here we go. The first sentence reads like this. Now in this family was a little girl, Susie, and Spot, as he was originally known, belonged to her. Susie, in this case, is in a positive because Susie is renaming the words little girl that come right before it. Timmy was a jerk who loved tormenting Susie. Tormenting Susie, in this case, is acting as a gerund. How do I know it's a gerund? Because I can pull the entire thing out and I can replace it with this, that, someone, or something, like this. Timmy was a jerk who loved something. Timmy was a jerk who loved this, or loved that, or loved someone. See how that works? In this case, it is also acting as a direct object because it's the thing being loved. When Timmy got bored, he would make fun of Susie playing with Spot. Playing with Spot, in this case, is a participle. It ends in ing, and I can tell that it's a participle because I can pull it out and the sentence grammatically still makes sense, like this. When Timmy got bored, he would make fun of Susie. Period. See? That works. In this case, playing with Spot modifies the word Susie, and since Susie is a noun, that makes playing with Spot a participle. But Timmy's favorite trick was to tell Susie that Spot had seen a huge fish out in the lake. Look, I've got to plus a verb. That makes this an infinitive. In this instance, it is following the word was, which makes this a predicate nominative because it's acting as a noun. Oh, there we go. Acting as a predicate nominative, it's acting as a noun. Yup. Falling for such tricks every time Susie would cry and cry over poor little lost Spot. Again, we've got something that ends in ing, so it's either going to be a gerund or a participle, but in this case we can take the entire phrase out, which makes it a participle, and once again, this participle is modifying the word Susie. Since Susie is a noun, we have to modify nouns with an adjective or a participle. Spot the cat. Hopefully you get this one nice and quickly. It's set off by commas for you. It is indeed an appositive, and it is renaming or identifying Spot. Yes, it is. Susie's brother Timmy. We have another appositive. It renames or identifies the word that comes right before it. Ta-da! Timmy needed to do something drastic. Look, I've got to plus a verb. That makes this an infinitive. This is acting as a noun, and because it's following an action verb, it is probably going to be a direct object, but we can pull it out and Timmy needed this, or Timmy needed that. What's the thing being needed? Well, he needed to do something drastic, which is how we identify a direct object. Susie was looking for pebbles to add to her collection. Again, I've got to plus a verb, so that makes this an infinitive. But now I'm not sure. Is this infinitive acting as a noun? Is it acting as an adverb? Is it acting as an adjective? Well, let's try seeing if it's a noun first. If it's a noun, remember, I can pull the entire thing out and replace it with this, that, someone, or something. Susie was looking for pebbles something. Susie was looking for pebbles this. Susie was looking for pebbles that. Does not make sense. If it's an adverb, often, we can move it. So it's already at the back, so let's see if we can put it at the front. To add to her collection, Susie was looking for pebbles. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. In fact, this is an adjective phrase. First of all, I can take it out because I can say Susie was looking for pebbles, but also, which pebbles was she looking for? She was looking for pebbles to add to her collection. So the infinitive is modifying or describing the word pebbles, and since pebbles is a noun, the only way we can modify it is with an adjective. That was a long explanation. It is acting as an adjective. To show you. There it is. To plus a verb. I have something this. I have something that. Doesn't make sense. To show you I have something. That doesn't make sense. On the other hand, once again, we have an infinitive. It is acting like an adjective. Which something do I have? I have something to show you. Tilting his head in a curious kitty kind of way, Spot decided that this new boy was more interesting than the mice. Again, I've got something that ends in ing, so it's either going to be a participle or a gerund. In this case, I can ask myself, what is it describing? And it's actually describing the word Spot. Spot is the one tilting his head in a curious kind of way. It is a participle. I can pull it out also. I mean, I can take the entire thing out, and I'm still left with Spot decided that this new boy was more interesting than the mice. Makes sense. It is acting as an adjective. It's modifying the word Spot. Susie was down by the water. There's the word by. I go back and look at my great big list of prepositions, and I see that by is indeed a preposition. There it is. In this case, it tells us where she was down. Nope. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. It's acting as an adverb because it's telling us where she was down. She wasn't down by the lake. She wasn't down by the bushes. She was down by the water. It tells us where she was down. We have another ing. Can I take it out? Timmy ran to the shore. Yes, I can. Most likely then it is going to be a participle. Yes, it is. What is this participle describing? Who is putting on his best look to feign horror? It is Timmy. There it is. I tried to help him, but I couldn't get there in time. I've got to plus a verb so that we know it's an infinitive. Let's see if it's acting as a noun. I tried something. That makes sense. I tried this. I tried that. That makes sense because this is acting as a noun. And again, because it is following an action verb, it's going to be a direct object. What's the thing being tried? Well, I tried to help him. So it's acting as a direct object. Realizing this in an instant, again, there's our ing. And again, we notice that I can take the entire thing out and I'm still left with a complete sentence. It is, once again, a participle, and it is describing Susie. To get. To plus a verb. To plus a verb. It's always to plus a verb. Again, let's see if I can pull it out and replace it with this, that, someone, or something. He had never tried something. He had never tried this. He'd never tried that. Those all make sense. It's an infinitive. It's acting as a noun. It's following an action verb, so it is a direct object. At her feet. I go back to my list of prepositions. I see that the word at is a word that starts a prepositional phrase. In this case, it's telling me where she dropped her pebbles. She didn't drop them in the ocean. She didn't drop them on her toes. She dropped them at her feet. It's acting as an adverb because dropped is a verb, and we can only modify verbs with adverbs. I've got to plus a verb, so I know that this is an infinitive. In this instance, I have an infinitive acting as an adverb because it's telling me about the word where. She couldn't stop the tears coming. Oh, she couldn't stop the tears from coming any longer. Again, I've got the ing, so it's either going to be a participle or a gerund. Now, in this case, it is not acting as a participle because I can't take it out. I can't just say she couldn't stop the tears from what? I don't know. From this, from that, from... It doesn't matter. But notice, I have a preposition, the word from. And a preposition always has to be followed with another noun, which means that this is acting as a gerund because it is the noun of this preposition, or what we call an object of the preposition. Punching Timmy in the face was new for Susie. Again, there's my ing. Let's see if we can take it out and replace it with this, that, someone, or something. This was new for Susie. Well, that makes sense. And that's because it is, in fact, acting as a gerund. And in this case, it's at the very beginning of the sentence. This is the subject of the sentence. Once Betty and Gordon, Timmy and Susie's mother and father, found out about Spot, they were shocked too. Timmy and Susie's mother and father, hopefully you got this one. It isn't a positive. It renames Betty and Gordon. That is slide number 30. We'll continue this later. See you in the next video.